Okay, thanks a lot, Diane. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vivian Ortiz, and I am the outreach coordinator for the Greater Boston area and as well as the South Shore. In my quick tips, I'm going to share some observations and ideas related to parking and securing your bicycle. While our focus is on students, I hope my tips will be useful for all ages. As a bike instructor, when I arrive at a school and first of all, see a bike rack and to see it fill like the ones pictured here, I am so filled with joy. Just as there is a diversity of bikes and the people that ride them, the same is true for bike parking. These are pictures from schools in the territory I cover. They are all great examples of the types of bike racks we prefer. They accommodate bikes of different heights and widths, which encourages both students and staff members to bike to school. A parent or guardian using a cargo bike could easily lock their bike to the open spaces at the end of the rack in the middle picture. Smaller bicycles fit under the loop and the taller bikes can fit in between. These next pictures were also taken at schools in my region. I really like how the racks in the picture on the left were placed at a diagonal to allow for enough space for people using the sidewalk. And the color and flower design make them appropriate for the elementary school. When I visited the community pictured on the right and asked about bike racks, I was told it was not a concern for them. I would say in most cases, this is not true, and you do want to provide secure bike parking. When a new commuter rail stop was opened in my neighborhood, I was so excited to try it. On day one, I arrived to the station with enough time to find the bike rack and secure my bike before boarding the train. But there was no bike rack, so I locked up to what I hoped would be a safe spot. I was happy to see that a few weeks later that they had installed bike racks, and I know that it was a result of strong community engagement. In densely populated areas, you may find larger enclosed storage areas for people to park their bikes instead of individual racks. The three pictured here are all in Boston. The first two are private bike parking facilities in office and residential buildings. And the other is one of the bike cages that the MBTA provides at several of their train or bus stations. These facilities can serve as incentives for people who may be interested in biking to work, but hesitant to leave their bicycle locked on a busy city street. If you haven't taken advantage of using the MBTA's cages, I highly encourage you to do so. The space is unlocked using a Charlie card. It's completely free and you don't need to have any money loaded on the card, and you can sign up to use it on their website. I use the cages as a last mile connector. I may not make if biking to a location is not convenient, I'll ride to the train station. When I return, I may not make the connection to the bus that gets me home. So having my bike at the train station allows me to ride home instead of waiting an hour for the next bus.
Vivian, Leon just pasted actually a link to the MBTA bike parking information. So it's a great resource. Yeah.
It totally is. Thank you, Leon. Before I move on to sharing some tips on securing our bicycles, here are some examples of bike parking that probably weren't well thought through. These ladder type bike racks are popular at elementary school campuses because they work well for children's bikes. The openings are not tall or wide enough to accommodate larger wheels. And the placement of the racks pictured here isn't helpful. They're not adequately secured to the ground. And as the picture on the right shows, it's too close to the wall, not leaving enough space for the rack to be used correctly. If we want more people to bike to school or work, there needs to be proper parking and involve people that bike in the decision-making of what type of facilities to provide. And just a quick note about cable locks. These are the most affordable and the type of lock that we see most children using. They're great as a first lock, especially because it encourages them to value their bicycle. If you look carefully though, you'll notice that the lock is attached to the bicycle, but it is not actually being used and not attached to the bike rack. I recommend using a U-lock. They come in different sizes and you should base your decision on what it is you're trying to secure and how much you can afford. The key recommendation is to make sure that you're securing the frame, which is the triangle of the bicycle as shown in the picture on the left. The middle picture is securing the front of the bicycle. An experienced bike thief can figure out a way to remove the front wheel and take the rest of your bicycle. Using a cable and U-lock combination is a wise way to secure both the frame and front wheel of your bike as featured in the last photo. I encourage you to search for videos on how to secure your bike properly. There's even a person in New York City that walks around and grades the quality of how bikes are locked. An F can mean coming out and not finding your bike.